Is there anything that you would leave people with in the end of this episode? Like, I have a website, I'm frustrated. Like, what can I do about it?
Yeah, I mean, we do no obligation intake meetings all the time. If you want to come in and just talk about where you're stuck on your website, kind of what your mindset is about the internet or about your website, or even about how do I connect these other, I kind of briefly got into the concept of your website's the center of a wheel, and the spokes of the wheel are everything that you're funneling traffic back to your website from. So one spoke could be social media, one spoke could be honestly networking, because it doesn't have to be digital. One spoke could be YouTube. One spoke could be you've got an article that was written about your company, and there's a URL linking back to your website. There's many spokes to the wheel. And sometimes where people get really, I think, kind of lost or jaded is they look at the spokes of the wheel as really confusing. And they've invested money or time into one of those spokes. And it's funneling back to a website that's not created it's not set up to create conversions. It doesn't have relationship utility, thus not providing ROI. And there's a bad taste in their mouth about everything associated with that kind of, because when people spend money and it doesn't work, it's frustrating. You know, there's this phrase that says it's only expensive if it doesn't work. And it's true. You know, and people quickly look at spending money on their website or things associated with their website, again, as a necessary evil because it doesn't work. So we have conversations with people all the time, no obligation. Let's just kind of talk through where you're stuck. And a lot of times when we can kind of unpack these philosophies and these proven concepts that we have about what your website should be, people leave with a much better understanding and really some hope for what it could be. We have a couple different ways to get into a great website, a full-blown, 8, 10, 12-page website, or maybe it's just a smaller thing that you need just to kind of help that process of starting to create some of those conversions. And we can do a smaller version of a great website. So we can really kind of meet people wherever they are. And that is, again, a great way just for us to even kind of start talking.
I think the thing that I like most about what, I love that you guys feels like a full service shop. Like if I needed something, you guys could figure out how to help it. But I think what's more important is that you're a safe place to start that conversation. Like sometimes it just comes down to strategy. Like let's turn over all the pieces on the table and see what we're dealing with before we make some decision on what you're supposed to buy from us.
There's been many times where we've talked to people, gave them some clarity on where they were stuck. And they said, I just don't have the money to do this right now. I'm a startup. I'm this and that. And, honestly, I've said, hey, you know what? Go over to Wix. Create a website at Wix, honestly, or at Squarespace. They have a low ceiling. So at some point you're going to hit your head on the ceiling and need something better. But if you need to just, and when you go do that, use these concepts,
that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Because you could go to Wix and Squarespace right now and create something, but if you don't have the strategy for relationship, utility, and ROI, you're going to build something that's obsolete or doesn't perform the job. So,
And, honestly, many times we hear back from them after a couple months and they're like, I need to figure out a way to have you guys do this because I'm trying to run here's another thing too. You're trying to run your business. You're not a website company or you're not a website designer. And I think once people start, making their knuckles get bloody because they're like, I'm scratching and clawing and grinding on this thing and it's still not providing the resource I need. I need to just realize I'm not a web designer. I'm trying to run this nonprofit or I'm trying to run this business and I need to just let the professionals do it. And we can really help people wherever they are in their budget.